It um it entered my heart many years, well, some years ago, a significant amount of years ago, to change my name. My original reasons probably had more to do with not wanting to be associated with my stepfather. Didn't like him very much. But that's evolved over time. I started learning about myself, who I am, where I'm from, my actual history, not the bullshit they teach you in a school curriculum, but my actual history that extends beyond slavery, you know. And that's inspired so many changes in me. And these last couple years, I've really been on this kind of like whole spiritual, physical cleansing type deal without actually articulating it that way to myself. I've changed so many things. I've stopped eating meat. I've stopped drinking alcohol. I haven't drank a drop of alcohol in over 9 months, going on 10. And originally, I was just trying to make 6 months, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to hit a year, and I don't really know anybody else who's done that. But I'm sure there's a lot of people who've done that. But trying to quit watching porn, that's a tough one for us guys. It's horny bastards out there. A lot of other shit, man. I just feel like on this whole like, there's a lot of shit that I do that just trying to I'm trying to be the best version of myself that I can be. And it entered my mind a long time ago to change my name. I don't like, you know, I read about my history and come to realize, when my people, when black people were brought to this country and we were forced to work like animals and we were owned like animals and treated worse than you treat animals. One of the things they did to complete our subjugation was slave owners, slave masters would give their slaves their last name to show ownership. It wasn't a gesture of kindness, it was to show ownership. Like you name a store, John's Pizzeria, you know what I'm saying? Or Katie's Cupcakes or some shit, you know what I'm saying? To associate it with yourself, to show your ownership, your mastery over that product. That's what that was about. It was a social brand, and we were being physically branded too. You know what I'm saying? Someone who enslaves another person is not going to give that person something with which to empower themselves and to break away from that slavery. They're not going to give that person something by which they could manufacture confidence and the initiative to gain their freedom. They're going to only give you things to further subjugate you because the subjugation to slavery is profitable, right? I mean, and that's part of what that was about. And that actually goes for religion too. Like, a lot of people who are Christians don't understand that religion was handed down to us during slavery. you know like Dr. John Henrik Clarke said, nearly all religions are handed down to the people by conquerors. That's trademark, that's conquer, that's colonization 101. You conquer a group of people, you strip away their native tongue, and you strip away their religion, and you give them yours so that they can identify with your gods, and your gods are going to resemble you, so that when they worship your gods, indirectly they're worshiping you. You know what I'm saying? But this is not a religious rant, so I don't want to get too much on that. It's about the names, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of us black people in America now who have last names like Peterson and Johnson and McLaurin and all this. Yo, we more than likely were handed down these names by an original ancestor in this country who was given that name by somebody who owned them. So now here we are with these post-colonial colonization slave names, handing this shit down to our spouses and then our children, perpetuating that shit into the future, you know, indefinitely. I think there's something wrong with that. I really think there's something wrong with that. If you were patronizing an establishment, you were in Starbucks and somebody walked in, or whatever the fuck, you were wherever, right? And a Japanese man walked in, right? And his name was fucking Giuseppe McGregor. You'd be like, what the fuck? McGregor, Japanese, you know what I'm saying? If an Indian dude walked in and his name was Yoshimaru Nagasaka, you'd be like, that's weird, right? You think that was a strange thing. But here our black asses are walking around with names that are so far removed from who we are as people and from our origins, and we don't think it's strange in the least. We don't think it's weird. You know, there's something to be said for a person's identity, their origin, who they are. It's empowering to know your past. Knowing your past gives you a base. It gives you a platform to stand on when you know who came before you and you know what they did. You know, and when I learned about the great men, you know, whose blood runs through my veins, it gave me a sense of confidence and empowerment that I had never gotten anywhere else before in my life. You know, when I learned about Pharaoh Akhenaten, when I learned about Thutmose, Ramses Ozymandias, as the Greeks called him, or the first female king, Hatshepsut, not a queen, a female king. Let that circulate for a second, of a superpower, the most powerful country in the world at the time. A female king, Hatshepsut. Look her up. That sister was bad. You know what I mean? I learned about these people. Imhotep, the world's first multi-genius. The man was an architect, a philosopher. He was a physician, the world's first physician. He was a doctor who designed a pyramid in his spare time. That pyramid is still standing today. The Step Pyramid of Saqqara in Africa. You can still go see that pyramid today. You understand? The man who designed that was responsible for so many incredible things that he was actually worshipped as a god for hundreds of years after his death. He was deified. You understand? And usually deification was something reserved for the royal members of the royal family. But here, this man was an advisor to the king, and he was deified. That's how great a man he is. The world's first multi-genius. But if you look up multi-genius right now, you know what you're going to find? Da Vinci. And that's all you're going to fucking find. You dig? They ain't going to say shit about Imhotep. Right? If you learn, if you go to school to be a physician, at some point you're going to have to take the Hippocratic Oath. Right? But Hippocrates himself studied the work of Imhotep. But you know what? I'm veering off course. But these are the things that I learned that made me feel a sense of pride in my ancestry, my African blood, my melanin, you know, that I never got from anywhere else. And if anybody is going to tell me it's somehow wrong to feel that kind of pride in myself and my origins and my people, you know, I'm going to really have to give you a hearty fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Please go somewhere and fucking expire. Anyways, so that's what the name change means to me. It means reconnecting with that past. It means reminding myself in times where I may be frustrated or discouraged of who I actually am, where I come from, and the great things that my people have done. Everybody's people have done amazing things. And you should carry the name of your people proudly. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I'm carrying somebody else's name right now, and I'm going to change that shit. This is probably going to be the last weekend of my life where I have this name, you know. Well, it takes a while for the paperwork to go through, so I guess maybe there'll be a few more weekends, but I'm gonna get the process started, and I have a name in mind. I'm not gonna say what it is right now, and maybe I never will. You know, fuck it, it's up to me. But I will tell you what it means. The name literally means, it translates to one who is chosen by the sun. Right? It has Ra in it. And Ra is the sun deity of the ancient Egyptians. But it's more than just the sun deity, it's the sun itself as a deity. And you know what? Hey, it's understandable to me that people worship the sun. The sun is incredibly powerful and it gives everything. If the sun went out, your ass would be dead. There wouldn't be anything to eat. It'd be cold as shit and we'd all be fucking corpses in a matter, I don't even know, what, minutes? If it even takes that long. I don't know. It probably take longer than that. How long does it take for sunlight to reach the earth? Who knows? I don't know. People know. I don't. But my point is, I feel that name suits me and will be a reminder to me. It will be a salve to me. It will bolster my confidence and my will and my resolve. And that makes me feel really good, you know, the one I'm thinking of. That's going to be my last name, my first and middle. I'm tossing around some ideas right now, but I got to narrow down to about 4 that I'm going to choose from. And you know, that's gonna be it, man. And I'm just gonna continue making changes and learning and evolving. Every year I'm just a little bit different than I was the year before. And this is just part of the journey. And you know something, it's a very lonely journey. I don't even know who the fuck I can talk to about this shit half the time, aside from my wife, who's kind enough to listen to my ravings. You know, when you start to learn the truth, it's a very lonely road. It's a very lonely word. A war. Can't fucking speak English all of a sudden. That's another thing, you know, even the language you speak affects your mentality. It affects the way that you think. And certain languages are biased to native speakers, and it will create a sort of inferiority complex in foreigners who learn that language, people who were not originally of the people who spoke that language. Take, for instance, English. Think of how many negative things are associated with black in English. Think about that. A black cat crosses your path, right? Oh, that's bad luck for so many years. If you're blackballed, you're ostracized from the group. A black day in history. You know what I'm saying? And when your friends die and your family die, you wear black to their funerals. Because black is the color of mourning and death, right? That's what it is in this language. Shit, even devil's food is chocolate. So subtly, when you learn English, it creates somewhat of an inferiority complex in you, whether you're aware of the shit or not, as a black person. And these words and the resonances that we create with our voice and our vocal cords when we speak this language are not native to who we are as people. I mean, but that's, again, going off the beaten path, you know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people won't agree with that, whatever, but it's a whole other video. So, you know, I'm just kind of letting my instincts and my spirit guide me here. I don't have clear-cut reasons for every fucking thing that I do and think. Some things I just feel, but I like to go most by what I know. People talk about belief a lot. You know, I hear believe, I know you don't really know what the fuck you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about when I talk about my history. And I know that these names are not native to me. And I honestly think they need to be done away with. And I'm going to start with myself. They say be the change that you want to see in the world, you know. And that's not always easy to do. But that's what I'm going to do, you know. And it's going to be a pain in the ass updating all my shit, credit cards, social media, all that kind of shit. But hey, the journey of 1,000 miles, they say. That shit begins with one step.